Hey, Team 300. First of all, I got a chance to catch up on the group discussion boards, and why I kind of let those languish a little bit is because I know a lot of people had some technical issues, hurricane issues, and I wanted to allow at least some time, some flexibility to get in there and post in between all the other things you have to do. Most of it will be the writing. I really want you to focus in on your writing. Now, it doesn't mean your discussion board post, whether they're the group or otherwise, right, should diminish in quality. In other words, discussion boards, as I've said earlier in the course, are about taking a position, being able to formulate an argument about something that you are asserting or you are testifying to, such as what type of research method would work best. Qualitative and quantitative methods are different. You can mix them, but you've got to be able to distinguish between the two. And that's one thing I noticed in the group EVs, that there was some element of grasp, but you've got to be more detailed and supportive, just as though you were raising your right hand in court to say, I am attesting to this fact because the research that I had done in this case says this. So in order to take a position, okay, you have to be able to make reference to fact, what you've read in the book, to show and demonstrate to the person, the reader, the teacher, that you comprehend what it is you're about to work with. So you need to fully understand what quantitative methods mean and why they would be of value to the problem you're investigating. The same thing with qualitative. Why it would, say, a survey method work best to get to the truth. Because what we're trying to do in our system all the time in terms of problem solving really is get to the bottom of the issue. What is the truth about it? And in this environment here, where you're required to work independently, you have to be able to read. You've got to take the time out to dive into your textbook, go to the Shapiro Library and find the things you have. Now, many of you selected some really, really great stuff in a short amount of time, and I understand that your time is compressed. But as you well know, that if you have time-related issues, obligations, deployments, or whatever it may be, all they need to know is right here. You just have to give me a shout or a text message. You all have my cell phone number at 603-858-3817. That's the fastest way to get a hold of me. Don't hesitate. The students that have called me have basically been very, very successful and a heck of a lot more effective in terms of what they're doing, how they deploy their own strategies each week, and what it means to do what they have to do. I can help you break down some of these things. If you don't understand it, just let me know. The other thing, too, is if I'm asking you to go to the Writing Center, you got to go. All right? It's an asset, and at the 300 level, you're expected to write at a certain level, and it's not the world according to me. I'm just telling you what the profession demands. It demands specificity, articulation, and fact. They expect well-organized writing. They expect good grammar, all right? And it really is it's my responsibility to convey that to you consistently, because if you go out there and apply for a position in our field and you have to fill out an essay, and most of these applications require some sort of writing sample. I'm going to tell you this right now categorically. Recruiters, the first thing they look at, I don't care if it's human services or CJ, anyone in the system, is how well you write, because everything we do is written, typed. And if they see any grammatical issues, goodbye application. Okay, so this is not me just saying, oh, right, because the teacher. I'm just telling you what they demand out there. And I've been on both sides of the coin in terms of recruitment and as a candidate or an applicant. All right, I know what it means to hear good things, but I also know what it means to hear, what I didn't want to hear about maybe some of the writing issues that I had. So I had to get better at it. And that's the only reason I'm asking you people, when I call you out on any of the writing issues, it's not to demean you. It's to say, look, I'm just letting you know the system out there is highly competitive, and they really judge you by the words you use. We have a great writing center. You've got to go there. They're phenomenal people, and they work quickly. All right, it's not going to take hours or weeks out of your time to make certain adjustments to grammar and spelling, sequencing, coherence, etc. Part of the responsibility you have in order to develop that repository, to be able to use the English language as your strength, is you've got to read. Okay, it may be time consuming, it may be laborious. You may not think I'm a really good reader or whatever, but it's like anything else. You don't get good or better at something unless you keep practicing a little each day. If you devote 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day to reading material that you're not used to reading, not a newspaper, we're talking about textbooks. We're talking about scholarly articles, and you can see what kind of words that they use to be able to eloquently and articulately and specifically explain what needs to be explained. Okay, and there's formatting that goes along with that too, and that's what the profession demands. And when you go to CJ 480, when you get to the capstone, this is where it really comes together, and that is it, right? That's your final course before you can graduate, and you're going to have to perform research. You're going to have to write, okay, for a research problem. You're going to have to do it. There's no way around it. So make sure that if you need help, you get a hold of me. Go to the writing center. Do whatever you can. Stay in touch with me. As many as you have. You know, things do come up. I get it. I understand how life can happen, and you do need time to get in there. Now, the group discussion boards, trust me, as the dean, I'm looking at some of those because I'm not sure about how effective they are, but you do the best you can with those right now. Make sure that you are as frequent as possible in there and have some healthy exchange of ideas to do that, okay? I do appreciate your feedback on those, and I do want you to make sure that you do concentrate on your writing, and let me know how I can help you. That's the bottom line. So, we're pretty much caught up on those things, all right? And I'll be looking at the 4-1, the lit reviews, this afternoon, this evening, and over the course of the weekend. Okay, so have a good weekend. You know, plan out your time well, and let me know, what I can do to help you, okay?